morning, everybody. We are glad to be back with you. Episode 284.
Wow.
We are just a couple days away. We're going to be in Gulfport, Mississippi with our friends at Bible Baptist Church there. We're doing a marriage conference with them over Friday and Saturday. Going to be doing We Need to Talk. So all about communication. We need to talk about sex. We need to talk about conflict resolution. We need to talk about emotional healing. And I think that's going to be a good time together. And then on Sunday, we're doing 2 sessions on Blueprint for the Family. And I'm looking forward to that time together. They're going to have joint groups and then morning service. So it's going to be a great time in Gulfport. Looking forward to that. We'd love to see all of you. Still time, even though it's a couple days away, to be included in that. So make your plans to be with us. I hope that you've had a great week. Our week has been good. It's been busy. A lot of painting, a lot of church stuff, a lot of family meeting stuff. So it's good.
It's all good.
It's real good. Yeah.
It sounds like you're one of those people who's like, it's fine. Everything's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Everything's on fire. And I'm just like, it's fine.
It's good. Things are good. The week's been good.
Yep. I got a little sunburnt yesterday. Yeah. Out painting, doing some outside painting.
It was funny because I came home and I was like, oh, geez, you did get sunburnt today. And then I turned around and he's like, wait till you see yourself.
Yeah.
And then I looked in the mirror. I was like, oh, I guess I did too.
Yeah. She's got a little farmer's tan going on.
No, a farmer's tan is with sleeves. I had a tank top, so that's not a farmer's tan.
Same thing, but your skin was like more red than the shirt you were wearing.
Yeah, it was. So we painted an exterior for the first time in a little while. Well, the first time that it's been warm enough and sunny.
Yeah.
For a while, so we definitely got burnt. And now you have no protection.
I know. Well, and then I dropped, on the way home from there, I dropped our car off at Bobby's house, who fixes our car, works on our car, make sure everything's ready to go for Mississippi, and I walked home from there, and that was, good 2 or 3 mile walk. So in the sun
with
after
no
painting
hat.
In the sun. So yeah, but I'm actually surprised I'm not more torched.
You know what I'm gonna get you? I'm gonna get you one of those umbrellas that people use for sun. Then you can use that on your walks.
Yeah, right. Just one of those caps with an umbrella on top.
That would work. I was picturing more of a parasol, but that could work too.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
We'll see. Father's Day's coming.
Yeah, we'll see. All right. We will see. But coming to a shop near you, family meeting parasols.
For men. Okay.
That's funny.
Shall we proceed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Talking today about being self-aware. So, I think that's an interesting conversation to have. A lot of people, most of us have areas of our lives where we're just not self-aware.
Yeah.
Some people are totally oblivious and have zero self-awareness. It's always funny when you get into conversations with people, because we deal with a lot of people, a lot of group conversations as well. And when you have somebody who's just not self-aware of how much time they're taking and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. I had a situation recently, and one person was dominating the whole conversation, and the rest of us are just kind of sitting there and they're talking about something that none of us cared about. So it's just
it's tough
droning on and on about this book that they wrote.
But not self-aware. They don't know that everyone else is dude,
yeah, let's
change the subject.
Well, and they were new. So it was not necessarily a great way to come into a group of people, but yeah. It was kind of comical when I sat back and thought about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's see. Anything else got going on?
We have a lot going on, but nothing more that we probably need to talk about right now.
Okay.
Don't you have a meeting?
What?
We have to hurry because you have to get to your meeting.
Here she is again. You've watched the podcast more than once. She's always like, come on, keep it moving, moving.
He's the one who's we got to start early this morning because I have to get to my meeting and on time and everything. And then you are just shooting the breeze with the YouTubers.
Yes, we start when we start, so we have plenty of time. This is a long form podcast. That means sitting here and talking and communicating for a long period of time.
But Thomas isn't self-aware. See, me and all the YouTubers, we're all like, come on, dude, let's get this going. Jeez, he's still talking?
No, they're here for this. This is why they tune in. Like, this is why they're watching. They want to know. They want to spend time with us.
Oh, babe.
They want to hear what you have to say.
I don't even want to spend time with us.
Yes, you do. All you said yesterday was, I can't wait to get away with you. I can't wait to get away with you.
I know. I am so excited. We're going to be leaving tomorrow. So she's trying
to rush everything so that it'll be tomorrow. And I'm like, It doesn't work that way.
No, it's just that we have to get a lot done before tomorrow. Okay, listen, all over YouTube, the whole time they're going to see me doing this. There's like one hair tickling my face and I can't find it.
Yeah, that and picking her nose all morning.
Listen, my nose is itchy, so I'm not picking my nose. It's just itchy today.
She's like, my nose itches. They're going to think I'm picking my nose the whole time.
I know, that's what I'm saying. So if you see me duck behind the laptop, it's because I'm scratching my nose.
Yeah, right.
Scratching the inside of my nose without pulling anything out.
Yeah, exactly.
That's okay.
That's weird.
Okay, we seriously though, we should like get into the material. We should actually start this.
How many times is you gonna say, let's get started?
You know what? You were so smart to have you be the one who starts the episode every week.
Yeah.
Because if it were me, we'd be like, hey, YouTube, gather round, everybody. It's time for a family meeting.
Yeah.
I am like, no nonsense. I mean, I'm bubbly and happy, but I'm no nonsense. Like business. Let's get it going.
Yeah. So I just interrupted anyway. I mean, I'm not afraid to interrupt.
No, you are not. But let's go ahead and get started.
Okay. But before we do, episode 300 is around the corner. We're at 284 now. Mm-hmm. 300 is our family meeting, the 6 of us. And then 301, we're going to be updating the podcast a little bit. So I'll just leave it at that. Something for you to think about. Ooh. Look forward to some maybe changes, upgrades to how we operate here. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be exciting.
Will your personality be upgraded?
Yes, it's going to be
excellent.
As exciting as it is now. It's getting an up boost, an upgrade. The turbo's being installed.
Ooh.
So as unhinged as it was before, it's like take it up another level.
Super unhinged.
Yeah, you're going to hate it.
Yeah, I am.
I'm going to be as unhinged as you are every morning at 6 a.m. where you just wake up and you're like, straight madness. Yeah.
I'm very happy in the morning.
So.
But I also know that there's a lot of stuff we should be getting done.
Yep.
So let's get started.
Yep. We still got an hour left on this podcast. So
you're going to be late to your meeting.
Nothing to rush to. No, because I've still got, let's see. I got 2 hours before I have to be there.
What? Why did you tell me we had to start so early then?
It's at 10 because I got to do all the stuff to get the podcast out.
Oh, okay.
It's not like I'm just recording and heading straight there.
I retract my freak out.
Exactly. See, you guys got a little hint into it. Like, this happens constantly.
What, me freaking out?
Yeah.
Yeah, that does happen all the time.
Gather round, everybody. It's time for a family meeting. The family meeting is a show that's all about... Before we do this, though.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm just kidding. All about family relationships. We're the Osterkamps. I'm Thomas, and this is my wife... The freak out queen, Lysandra.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, and welcome to our family. Welcome to episode 284 of the Family Meeting Podcast. We are glad that you are with us today. On today's episode, we're going to discuss self-awareness. How self-aware are you? How self-aware is your spouse? Can you help each other with this? And how does it affect your marriage? See, self-awareness isn't about shame, it's about growth. And that's what we want to help you with today, and that's what we want to help each other with. Thomas and myself, we both value self-awareness, and we want to be more and more self-aware. We're often evaluating this in ourselves.
And each other.
Checking it. Yeah, exactly. And each other. Like the sanity checks, we do that all the time.
Self-awareness checks. Yeah,
absolutely. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm kind of excited about this discussion, and maybe we'll share some stories with you as well.
But not so fast.
Ooh.
Because we are a couple days away from Marriage Conference in Gulfport, Mississippi. We're looking forward to be with Mike and Leanne Spann and our friends at Bible Baptist. Going to be a great time together.
I'm so excited.
It's going to be our first time there. We know Mike and Leanne, and we're excited to be with them. It's going to be good to see their church and the ministry that they have there. And it's going to be great because we were talking about marriage and family. So we have the marriage conference Friday and Saturday, and then Sunday, Lysandra and I are going to be talking about Blueprint for the Family and doing a couple sessions on the family itself. And so we're going to cover the whole family, marriage, family, kids, all the stuff. And
I'm excited. It's going to be such a great weekend.
It's going to be a lot of fun together.
We are excited about the conference. We're excited about being with our friends. But there's also an element for us that always comes into play whenever we travel for conferences, and that is getting away just the two of us. And we definitely don't leave work at home.
No.
So he'll drive and I'll work on the laptop. I'll drive and he'll work on the laptop. So we work and stuff as we drive. But we also have like a good time. We usually try to go out in nature wherever the location is.
Yep. Get away, just the two of us, no
yeah.
distractions, no technology.
Have you looked to see how far we will be from the beach? Can we go to the beach?
Gulfport's right on the Gulf. Now, from what I understand, that side of the Mississippi, the beach is not necessarily great, but we'll check it out for sure. We got to get beach sand for our collection back here from the area. So, yeah it's literally right there on the Gulf.
Yeah, and
Gulfport.
Oh, I see what they did there.
All of our YouTubers just saw the light come on in their eyes, like, oh.
We need a light bulb symbol that like pops up over my head at certain times.
Nah, it's not worth the investment because it wouldn't come on very often.
Whoa, dude. That was mean.
I'm just trying to help you be self-aware.
Are you aware? Are you aware how mean you are? Are you aware?
So it's good.
You are aware.
I am aware.
You know.
I do.
And you don't care.
So it's
that's a whole nother episode.
Exactly. So a good segue into the conversation today. She's like, we need a light bulb. I'm like,
All right. You stop it. All right. Here we go.
What I was trying to say is you already know everything. There's so few things that you actually don't know that we hardly ever use it.
Anybody who's listened to this podcast for any amount of time knows that that's not true, and I'm constantly learning things as we talk.
Yeah, but you know ElfCon, so...
Stop it. Okay. Every marriage has problems. Exhibit A, our marriage.
Yeah, I have a lot of problems. They all start with the letter L.
My biggest problem in marriage is my husband. So...
Is that a fat joke?
Take it as you will.
Wow.
Okay, listen. We all have conflicts. Every marriage. I'm trying to get serious here. No more joking.
Well, that's not going to happen the rest of the episode.
No, but right now. For like a paragraph?
We'll see.
All right. Every marriage has conflicts. And so yours is not abnormal because it has conflicts, okay?
Yeah.
But most conflicts in marriage aren't caused by bad intentions. They're caused by blind spots. We all have blind spots.
I agree with that statement.
Yeah.
Very few people are trying to be vindictive and hurtful on purpose.
Right.
You know,
most of us
have those people, but...
Yeah. Most of us are not malicious. We're not like, how can I hurt my spouse today, right? But these blind spots, they are there because of a lack of self-awareness.
Yeah.
So today we're going to explore together the power of self-awareness in marriage, what it is, why it matters, and how it can damage your marriage. It can affect your connection, your communication, your intimacy. All those things are really important in marriage. I know that you want to have a close, connected marriage. You want to have intimacy in your marriage. You want to have good communication. You want to have joy in your marriage, right? Mm-hmm. And a lot of the things that steal those things come from a lack of self-awareness. So that's why we want to talk about this today.
And to get things started off, we have some questions we want you to answer as honestly as possible. So the point of the questions is to help you assess your self-awareness, specifically in marriage. Mm-hmm. So are you aware of how your tone affects your spouse? There's times where both of us are like, do you know how you're talking to me right now?
Yeah, we both have to kind of like put each other in check sometimes. Like, hey, Thomas uses this phrase. It feels like you're really coming at me right now.
Yeah, not in a good way, like she's coming at me.
That's what yeah, not that way. And then usually when I'm telling you the same exact thing, I say it in a different way. I usually say, why do you sound so angry? That's usually what I'll
I'm
say.
like, that's just my voice.
Why are you mad at me? You sound like you're mad at me. Like, that's what I say.
But
Anyway.
so your tone, how does it affect your spouse? How your stress spills into conversations. And this is one of the things that we talk about on a regular basis is like stress works its way out somehow into your life. It's one of the reasons why I go to the gym almost every day. Let's get some of that stress worked out because otherwise it will spill into conversations.
When is it going to start working?
Hopefully soon.
Okay.
As soon as you start going to the gym.
I went twice this week,
Yeah.
and it's only Wednesday.
Yep. Massage and a tan.
Oh, stop it. You're such a jerk. I worked out.
Some of us
lightly.
aren't self-aware in our exercise routines. How your past shapes your reactions. The patterns you repeat without realizing it.
Okay, so the question is, are you aware of?
Yes. How clearly you communicate. Sometimes we think we're communicating clearly and we're not. There's
Right.
a lot of different reasons for that. Sometimes we're just not communicating the way our spouse can understand us the best. It's
Exactly.
almost like we're speaking a different language. It's always amusing to me when we have a couple come in because they're having an issue and not necessarily a big issue, but it's just like they can't come together and find resolution on a certain topic. So they'll come and they'll sit down with us or sit down over Zoom and, all right, you explain to me what's going on. All right, now you explain to me what's going on. And they're saying exactly the same thing. They want the same
In
thing.
different ways.
But it's like they're just speaking different language. So here's one. How much you interrupt.
Oh, yeah. Are you aware of how much you interrupt? It is amazing to me to like go out with couples or interact with people and they just have no idea that they are interrupting people constantly.
Yeah, and so I remember one time, and this has been years ago, but we had gone out with our great friends Brett and Heather, and I think we got in the car on the way home, and you were like, "Do you know how often you interrupted Brett?" And I was like, I had no idea. Of course,
Yeah.
I felt horrible about it. But I literally didn't notice. I was not paying attention. So I was totally lacked self-awareness in the moment.
In your defense, I know that the reason that you did it was because you were so comfortable and we were such good friends that like you were so comfortable you weren't even really thinking, like you weren't trying to act a certain way. You were just having a good time.
Yeah.
But it just happened to come out that way. In your defense.
Yep. So
You're not always like that.
how much you interrupt. How invested do you seem in other members of your family? And we've got, it's always funny when you have that family member who, as long as you're talking about them, they are totally engaged. And as soon as you stop talking about them or what they're interested in, it's like they are checked out.
Whenever any of these things happen in other relationships, I really try to do this, and I think this is a good exercise for all of us. I try to turn it around on myself. Like,
Yeah.
all right, do I do that? Am I one of those pots calling the kettle black situations, right? Where I'm like, oh man, they only want to talk about themselves. Oh, well, what about me? Do I only want to talk about myself? Because let's be honest, every single one of us wants to talk about ourselves.
Yeah.
Like that is normal. But is that the only thing I will engage in?
Yeah. And for me, it's not necessarily the exact thing that their issue is. Like there's some times where I'm like, and Lysandra and I have had this conversation about a lot of different people over time about a lot of different subjects is like, how do they not see it?
Right. Yeah.
Like, how do they not see this glaring issue on whatever it is? And it's a wide variety of things. And so I'm never like, look at that and think, do I do that? What I look at it and see, okay, if they have something that is that glaringly obvious to everyone else around them, but not to them, what is my blind spot?
Exactly. Yeah.
What is the thing that when I leave the room, people go, how does he not know? Like, can you believe it? Like,
Well, every time you leave the room, I have that conversation with different people about you.
yeah,
so.
I'm sure.
No, but and then of course it happens as couples too,
Yeah.
because we as couples become unaware. Like, for instance, to a certain extent, in a marriage, you're an echo chamber.
Yeah.
Like
definitely.
between the two of you,
Yep.
you start to see things the same way the longer you're married, especially. And so you can like get together and be like, man, we do it this way and it's the right way to do it. And then everybody else in the world's like, I can't believe they do it that way. That's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. But because we are not aware, we just think that we're normal. So it can happen individually and as a couple as a whole.
Well, and I think about like just what side of the table you sit on when you go on a date. Like people are at such polar opposites, and I'm like, why would you not sit right by the person and like snuggle and be close and like be able to whisper in each other's ear and make out or whatever if you want to? And some people are like, why would you ever sit next to each other? Like I want to look at the other person while I'm talking to them. I'm like, well, my neck does turn, and get a chance for a little grab here or there, but whatever,
Oh, that's so romantic.
But it's interesting because like some people are at opposite sides, and like, why would you ever want to do that?
Yeah.
On something so simple, and then you've
Right.
got actual major issues that people are like at different levels, different areas, different points of view.
Yeah, absolutely. So these questions
Yeah.
are going to help you start the process of thinking about it, right? Those questions that Thomas just mentioned. And if it's possible for you, it would be good for you and your spouse to have a family meeting tonight, which at the end of every episode, we talk about the family meeting, so it's coming. But just think about those questions that he just asked at the beginning of this episode, because I'm sure that you want your spouse to answer those questions too. But it might not be appropriate for you to just go up to them and be like, are you even aware of how your tone comes off? Are you even aware of, whatever? So having a family meeting can be the perfect opportunity for you both to answer the questions and kind of check your self-awareness individually and as a couple.
So let's talk about what self-awareness really means in a Christian marriage. And I think it has to start with knowing your heart before God. And all those words are important and necessary because the scripture tells us that our heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who could know it? So it's nearly impossible for you and I to self-evaluate our own heart apart from God. We have to know our heart before Him. And it begins with that humility of coming before God and praying the same prayer that David prayed in Psalm 139, verses 23 and 24. He says this, "Search me, O God, and know my heart." And that posture is foundational in marriage. You are never going to get an honest evaluation of who you are personally and in your relationship until you're willing to humble yourself and open yourself up to evaluation. And that evaluation starts with our before God, like in inviting God. I'm holding nothing back. I really want you to search me and to show me the blind spots that I have in my own heart.
Right.
The pride, the selfishness, the ego, like all of those things that are deep down inside of us. And like I said, on our own, you're never going to see it. You're never going to evaluate it correctly. It's only when we come into the light of God's holiness that we can truly see ourselves for who we are. And think about Isaiah. When Isaiah stood before God and he got that vision of who God was, high and lifted up, and sees him in the temple and just the holiness and all of that. And once he steps into the light of God's holiness, Isaiah is able to look and see himself. And when the prophet of God, the man of God, sees himself in light of God's holiness, he says, "Woe is me. I am undone. I'm a man of unclean lips." And you're like, well, how could you ever say that? Like, you're the one standing up, preaching God's word, preaching God's goodness, His holiness, His judgment on sin and all these things. And yet, when he compared himself to God and His holiness and got a proper view of God, he could properly see himself. And so it starts with that humility to stand before God and say, hey, reveal what's in here to me because I want to know and I want to change and I want to be conformed to the person you want me to be.
That's so good. And I mean, self-awareness does begin with humility.
Yeah.
It's got to start with humility, because pride says, I'm good. I don't need to change anything. I'm a nice person. I'm a good person. I
Yep.
whatever, fill in the blank. I'm right. But you've got to be a humble person in order to even try to be self-aware, really. So go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, it brings up this quote from our men's leadership group the other night. We're going through the 21, and I always get the name wrong because he's got so many books that sound the same. 21 like indispensable qualities of a leader is, I think,
By
the name
John
of it.
Maxwell.
Yeah, I think that's the title. It's something along those lines, but the qualities of a leader, and then it's described somehow. And we were talking about being teachable, and the same idea of you have to be humble. And there was a quote in the book by Ray Kroc, and it was something along the lines of, while you're green, you're still growing. But as soon as you're ripe, you begin rotting. And so the idea is always remain in that like learning and growing stage. And that takes humbleness as well. And the same is true here. Like, you know, you're learning and growing who you are as a person. And being self-aware means you're constantly learning and growing and seeing yourself in a new light. And so same idea. We kind of get to the point where it's like, I've arrived. I've got it figured out. I don't need to learn anything else. And you, in other words, you've ripened and now you're beginning to rot.
Well, and we need to stay always in the posture of, who am I really? Not, I know who I am.
Yeah.
Because so often we get to that point where we're like, well, I know I'm a nice person. I know I'm a good spouse. No. We should always be saying, where might I have a problem? I could have a problem.
Well, and that's like, you're talking about really seeing yourself for who you are, because we naturally see ourselves better than we are.
Absolutely.
Like, even scientifically, like they've done studies, and like you and I, we see ourselves, and I forget if it's 10%.
In the mirror. You're
Yeah.
talking physically.
Like, I don't know. I don't remember if it's 10% or what it was. But it's like you see yourself like 10% more beautiful or whatever than you actually are, or better looking or whatever. And so I find that so fascinating.
It is
That
what our
even
brains do.
physically, and then you're talking about who we are as a person. I bet that number is astronomically more higher.
Yeah, that would be an interesting thing to look up. But as you are putting yourself in this posture of humility, part of that is, excuse me,
Bless you.
recognizing your pride instead of blaming your spouse. Because so often that's what we do when we're unaware. Is we want to say like, oh, it's because they did this. That's why I did this. It's always the other person's fault. So admitting you're wrong without defensiveness. So being able to say I was wrong and leave it there without saying like I was wrong, but the only reason I did it is because, seeing your own sin patterns, right? Maybe your sin pattern has to do with control or withdraw or being harsh or passivity or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
But a self-aware spouse says, my tone was harsh. It wasn't, you made me talk that way. Or if you wouldn't have done that, it wouldn't have escalated. But it just says like, I didn't speak kindly to you. I apologize. So that's a difference.
Yeah. And it's so funny that we often like give ourselves a lot of grace.
Yes, we do.
And we are like, we don't give the same thing to our spouse or the people who are around us. And once again, it's like we ought to be giving them the same kind of grace that we want for ourselves.
And that's why we have to like really think, what does self-awareness mean in a Christian's life?
Yeah. So part of it is understanding your triggers and wounds as well. So we all bring history into marriage.
We just talked about that with our baggage, our sexual baggage episode.
Yep. So we all bring it in, and it doesn't matter how many times you've been married, how many boyfriends or girlfriends, like you've got a family past and a history and everything else. Lysandra and I are our one and only, and yet we both walked into the relationship with a history, with family patterns, past hurts, fears. So self-awareness means asking, why do I shut down during conflict? Why does criticism feel like rejection? Why do I need control to feel safe?
Those are such good questions. And there could be so many more like that.
Yeah. But it's literally asking the questions about why am I the way that I am? Why do I do the things that I do? And really learning to understand, getting down to the bottom of it.
Yeah, it is really important. And I also think being self-aware is a lot about being aware of how you make other people feel. It matters how you make people feel. Like, do you make people feel safe or defensive, or do you make people feel good, or do you make people feel bad about themselves? And so often it can be like, well, I didn't say anything that wasn't true, or whatever it may be. But how did that person leave that conversation feeling?
Yeah.
Did they feel uplifted? Did they feel put down? And that is a lot about self-awareness too, is like, how do I make people feel when they leave the room? And then getting down to like, why? Why do I do that? Is it because of how my mom treated me? Is it because of a past spouse or whatever? So getting down to these and understanding like the wounds that make you, or that have kind of led to you being the way you are, it's really important to figure that stuff out.
Well, and it isn't just about managing behavior.
No.
Right? It's really about letting God heal what drives the behavior. Mm-hmm. And that's part of our, we're getting ready to go to Gulfport, and one of the things we're going to be talking about is emotional healing. And Lysandra talks about just sometimes you got to open the wound and get to the bottom of the issue in order to find true healing. And that's exactly what this is about. It's about examining your past, your triggers, your wounds, not just to stir it up, but to find true healing through God. And whatever it is, you can find healing.
Right. And then when you do, the behavior will change.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Self-awareness in a Christian marriage means taking responsibility for your emotional world. And I think about Galatians 5:22, which talks about all the fruits of the Spirit. The fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, so on and so forth. One of the things listed there is self-control. That if you are living and walking in the Spirit of God, then self-control will be part of your life. Because you are being controlled by the Holy Spirit.
And self-control is one of the things I've really been trying to focus in on this year. It's like,
I think you're doing a great job.
My goal is to not let anything or anyone bother me.
Sorry.
I know.
I'm sorry. I did not mean to laugh. It's just funny. Go ahead.
No, but it's something I need to work on. I can be agitated about a lot of stuff. So like this morning, I had an opportunity to like learn.
Okay.
And put it into practice. So for those of you that don't know, I have my alarm set for 4 a.m. 6 days out of the week.
Saturday, that gym opens later.
Yeah, it opens later right now. So actually it's only 5 days. But it's set for 4 a.m. and often I will wake up before my alarm and I'll get up and get ready and go to the gym. I'm always the first one leaving house, always. And so I get up this morning and my car's blocked in.
Mm-hmm. Again, I feel like they're like, we've heard this story before.
Yeah.
This happens a lot.
Well, we
have 6 drivers because Violet even has her permit, but we have 5 cars.
Yeah. And so, 4 cars right now.
But she's borrowing a car, so there's 5 cars here.
Yeah. But there are 4 cars here this morning.
Okay.
And my car is blocked in. And I forgot you weren't going to go to the gym. Your car was not blocked in. So I go outside and I'm like, oh, great. So I got to come back in and get the key. Well, and we keep the extra keys in a bowl on our island. And so I'm like, okay, I got to remember which key it is.
Because everyone has a different, they're all Hondas. Yeah. They're all Hondas, so like they all have a different keychain.
Like, okay, I get the one. I remember it's the one with the pink smiley face. And so I go and at my instant reaction when I open the garage door and see I'm like blocked in is like,
come on.
Yeah.
Right.
Like irritated, a little upset. I'm just like, dude, it's not that big a deal. Like it takes you 30 seconds to a minute to move the car. And so it's one of those things where it's like just trying to work on not letting any scenario bother me. Like it's whatever it is, literally it's not that big a deal in the grand scheme of things.
Right. But don't tell your wife that when she's upset.
Yeah.
It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, just
let
calm
it go.
down.
Who cares? Just relax.
Calm
Just
down.
Don't tell her that. Okay. But that's good. So self-control is really important. And understanding too, my anger is mine to manage.
Yeah.
My insecurity is mine to confront. My growth is my responsibility. Now, when I hear those words, I do think of something that kind of makes me feel a little bit guilty because talking about insecurity, right?
Okay.
There's a part of me that wants you, Thomas, to fix my insecurity by saying the right things or saying it more often or saying the things I need to hear. And sometimes, no, not sometimes, a lot of times, especially over 22 years of marriage, I have felt frustrated with you for not saying the things that I wanted to hear to help my insecurity. And part of this episode has kind of brought to the surface and helped me to become more aware, like, I shouldn't put that weight on your shoulders. I need to deal with that, just me and God. And so that I feel like is something that has helped me. And I don't know how many of our listeners are aware of this or our YouTube viewers, but you guys are our therapists. And every time we do a podcast episode, it's just us laying on your couch and you're helping us. So thank you because you've brought this to my attention. But understanding my growth is my responsibility.
Yeah.
It is not my husband's responsibility to help me grow. That is my responsibility. Now, we obviously, as spouses, we should be supporting one another in the growth journey and
encouraging each other.
Anything
Yes.
we can do. But the responsibility is between me and the Lord. Your spouse is your partner, not your emotional regulator. Your spouse is not your therapist.
Yeah.
Right? So understanding those things and taking responsibility for your emotional world is really important in self-awareness.
If your spouse is actually your therapist, you need to get another therapist.
What if the spouse was their therapist before was their spouse? Is that okay?
So they married their therapist?
Yeah,
That seems like very highly unethical.
I agree. I'm just joking.
Okay. Yeah. Find a different therapist if that's the case. What's done is done. You're married. Find a different
Don't
therapist.
find a different spouse because you're married, but find a different therapist.
But you're right, though. A lot of times we expect our spouse to be our emotional regulator. And we're just, that relationship is not designed for that, not intended for that. Another thing is to recognize how you impact your spouse.
Yeah.
So, and this is coming at it from the totally different perspective, where often we're thinking about and focusing in on how our spouse is impacting us, and we want them to do the right things, say the right things, so that we won't react in a way that's negative. It's like if you would just, offer these affirming things, then I wouldn't have these breakdowns or freakouts or whatever else.
Right.
If you would just not block me in, then I wouldn't have these angry outbursts when I get up to go to the, you know what I mean?
You're the reason I'm angry.
Exactly. Instead, we need to kind of look at it from the other point of view and recognize how we are impacting our spouse. And love requires awareness of how your words and actions land.
That's so important. Say it again. It's so important. I feel like it just needs to be said again.
You want to say it again?
I want to say it. Love requires awareness of how your words and actions land. Because I feel like so often, especially in our culture today, there's this whole thing about like, we don't want to take responsibility for it if what we said was true or if we believe it's true. Like, well, you just took it that way, or you're overly sensitive or whatever. It's like understanding the way that what we do and what we say lands on other people, how it makes them feel, like I was saying earlier.
Well, and it's kind of an interesting and ironic connection because you're not responsible for what your spouse says or does or how they react to it, but you are responsible for how your words and actions impact your spouse.
This is why marriage is tricky, guys.
Yeah.
This is the reason.
Yeah. So it is like, because it almost seems like, well, you just said,
It sounds contradictory.
like you're not responsible for them. And it's true, you're not. You're responsible for you. You're responsible for what you do, for what you say, how you say it, how you do it.
And if you're aware of something that you say that hurts your spouse and you're like, well, it's not my responsibility for...
It's the truth. I'm just saying the truth.
But if you know it hurts them, then it becomes wrong for you to say that thing. So stop saying that thing, right? It matters.
It does matter. So a self-aware husband or wife asks some very simple questions when it comes to their own words and actions. How does my silence affect them? So if I'm not communicating, I'm not saying something.
In the beginning of our marriage, I literally was like, how does my silence affect him? It hurts him and he hates it. Let's do it. And then I would give him the silent treatment.
And I'm literally like, this is the most peaceful, blessed day I've ever had in my entire life.
Yeah, right. You're totally all talk. The truth was he hated it and he knew that I was upset and it bothered him. So it worked, but it was wrong.
Yeah, in the beginning it worked. Now when it's silent, I'm just like,
I don't give you the silent treatment. When was the last time I gave you the silent
No,
treatment?
you don't give silent treatment, but once a year or so, once every other year, you lose your voice.
That's not the same as giving the silent treatment.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, you're not able to talk, and it's just like, is this what true peace sounds like?
You're mean.
I recognize how my words land.
And you're proud of it.
So I did that because this segues into the next question.
Okay.
How does my sarcasm land?
Like a bomb.
Yeah, exactly.
We are well, if you've listened to the podcast for 2 episodes, you know that we are very sarcastic and we joke around and everything. But some of you don't have the kind of marriages where that's okay. Because there's too much hurt and there's stuff that's not healed.
For some people, sarcasm is just they find it disrespectful and it's not fun or flirty to them.
Yeah, we're extremely flirty with it.
So we're talking about in the context of your own marriage relationship.
Yeah, and we also have lines that are not allowed to be crossed.
Yeah.
So like he will never be sarcastic with me about my weight or anything physical, like physical appearance, because he knows that's my insecurity. So making sure that your spouse understands, or making sure that you understand your spouse's wounds and things that they don't find funny. That's
exactly.
That's a different episode.
It is a different episode. But a self-aware husband or wife asks, do they feel safe with me? Mm-hmm. Like, do they feel safe in every way? They physically, emotionally, spiritually, sexually, like in every way, do they feel safe with me?
And it really does seem like it's all coming down to questions. Being self-aware is basically asking yourself a lot of questions.
Because it's about self-evaluation. And you can't do that without real good questions.
Right.
But I think of Philippians 2, 3, and 4 that tell us that we should consider others above ourselves. And that's not just like, hey, it'd be a good idea if you would, it's a command.
Yes. Like,
consider others above yourselves. And you can't do that if you are not self-aware. True.
So true. And then self-awareness in a Christian marriage also means letting Christ shape your identity, okay? It's a self-awareness that is different from secular self-focus. It's not like, oh, I'm all about me, but it's like,
yeah,
I want to be the best version of myself for my spouse, for my family, for others I come in contact with.
Yeah.
Because I want people leaving every interaction with me feeling better in general.
Yep.
It's not the secular focus, which would be more like, well, this is just how I am. I'm aware of it, and it's just like how I am. It's like what Thomas said at the beginning of the podcast. He knows he's a jerk, and he's comfortable with it. He's just staying there. No, I'm teasing him at that point. But truly, what a self-aware person says is, so this is more of a Christ-centered self-awareness. It says, this is where I need Jesus to transform me.
Yeah.
So like I see that I am a jerk. I need Jesus to come in and help me be transformed.
Yeah.
And Ephesians 5 talks about how marriage is supposed to reflect Christ and the church. Like that's the point. Your marriage is supposed to look like the way Jesus loves us. Does it? Do you look like the way Jesus loves you? Most of us have to say no, but I'm working on it, right? So this requires continual growth, continual confession, repentance, that's a word that's not used in our culture very often, but repentance is the idea of turning away from something. I'm not doing that thing anymore. It's change. It's change of behavior, change of attitude, change of heart, and surrender. That's what this requires in order to be a truly self-aware person who is allowing Jesus to shape your identity.
And so as we think about that, we've been kind of doing a little bit of evaluating. We want to share with you, okay, so this is not for your spouse, this is not for anybody else, okay? Self-awareness means self, you, deal with you. So 3 signs you may lack self-awareness without realizing it, okay?
Okay.
So here's the first way to show that you lack self-awareness, and that is you're frequently defensive.
No, I'm not.
So always on the defensive. If you're,
Did you get it?
I did get it.
Okay.
If your first reaction to feedback is you're lacking self-awareness and how funny you are.
That is true. That will always be true of me.
Yes.
I think I'm way funnier than I am.
No reason to be defensive about it.
But I am funny.
Yeah.
See?
We're laughing at you, not with you.
That's fine with me.
Those are 2 different things.
Yeah, but I'm okay with both.
If your first reaction, I just want people to recognize you're throwing us off, not me.
It is me this time. I apologize.
If your first reaction to feedback is explaining, justifying, blaming, turning it back on the other person, that's a signal. Defensiveness often means I'm protecting my image instead of examining my heart. And some people have a real problem with this. Like, they have a real problem opening up and truly examining themselves and being able to look at the possibility of failings, shortcomings, sins, faults, and all of that. And Proverbs 21:15 says a wise person listens to advice. If every correction feels like an attack, you may be guarding pride rather than pursuing growth. And so here's kind of a quiet indicator.
Okay.
You say, that's not what I meant, more than I can see how that hurt you.
That is so good. I feel like that right there is the transformation I've seen in you, babe. Because when we first got married, it was more, you were more, that's not what I meant. But now you are absolutely, I can see how I hurt you.
And there was a quote unquote religious leader, and I won't name who it is, but they recently made a very public apology, and apology is in quotes. And it was like, it was more along the lines of like, hey, I apologize if I made anybody feel, and it was just, instead of taking ownership and turning it on themselves and really identifying what's going on in their own heart and life, they turned it around and made it all about like, you just didn't understand me correctly, and that's kind of how this is the right. Shortcomings always with the other person.
Yes.
In how they understood you or how they took you, rather than, I didn't communicate clearly.
Yep.
And so if there was a misunderstanding and you heard something I didn't mean, it's not your fault. It's my fault. Like, I didn't communicate clearly. And so stop turning things around and making it the other person's fault in whatever way, shape, or form. Just take ownership.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing wrong with saying you made a mistake.
Right.
But if you're not self-aware, you can't do that.
No.
You're always making it about somebody else.
Exactly. All right. The second sign that you lack self-awareness. So maybe you're like listening to this episode and you're thinking, well, that's not me. I am very self-aware. Nobody knows how self-aware I am. I'm totally...
And that in and of itself sounds pretty defensive.
Doesn't it though? So here's the second one to kind of evaluate yourself. You keep having the same conflicts, different day, same argument. So you're not really listening, okay? And that's what's happening here, and you're having that same argument. Could be with anybody, right? But we're really talking about marriage, so it may be happening in your marriage. But you hear people say things to you like, you're too controlling. You always shut down. You're not listening. Maybe people are saying that to you. Maybe you're saying that to people. But patterns that repeat across relationships, the common denominator might be you.
So
we were just talking about this.
Yeah, it's always funny because
Yeah.
you see somebody and it's like they're not talking to this person, they're not talking to that person, they no longer
Yeah.
deal with this friend or that relationship, and it's like, how do you not see that you have all these problems with all these different relationships? Like we're talking friends, family, coworkers, literally across the board in all kinds of relationships, and you can't see like you're the problem.
Yeah.
You're the common denominator on this
Right.
whole situation.
You have burnt so many bridges, you are on an island with no way off.
I will tell you this. If the problem is with literally everybody else in the world, the problem is really with you.
Yes. It's time to.
Like the statistics of all those people having problems and issues and all deciding around the same exact time that they don't want nothing to do with you. The coincidence in that, it's like, come on.
You're the problem.
Yeah.
You're the problem. Okay, so here's a couple questions that you can ask is, what role am I consistently playing in this argument, in the same conflicts? What do I do when I feel threatened? What fear is driving this behavior? Okay, so these are going to help you kind of get to the root of it so that you can stop. But without awareness, we just relive patterns over and over and over. But with
Yeah.
awareness, we can interrupt those patterns and change. And if you have that humility, then you want to change. You want to be more like Jesus, and you want to have better relationships, especially with your spouse. All right, what's the third sign, baby?
Third sign is people close to you feel unheard or unsafe. And this is the hardest one. If your spouse, family, or close friends hesitate to bring things up, that's a sign.
Yeah, they can't bring things up to you, which we have a family member that it's just, we're not going to bring it up to them.
Yep.
Because it's like they're just not aware enough to even talk to about things.
Yeah.
And nothing is sin or like really bad hurts or anything like that. So it's not stuff where it's like we need to do it so we can set up boundaries. It's not that kind of a situation.
Yep. So if they feel dismissed or minimized.
So your family and friends feel dismissed or minimized.
Yep. They have to walk on eggshells around certain topics. All these things point to blind spots. In James 1:19, we're told to be quick to listen, slow to speak. And if people don't feel heard, it may be because you're listening to respond instead of to understand. That's if you're listening at all in the first place.
Yeah.
And the deeper issue is lack of self-awareness. It isn't usually arrogance. Now, for some people it is. For some people it is.
Yeah.
But they don't know it. So, self-awareness.
Yeah.
It's often unexamined wounds. Fear of being wrong, fragile identity, habitual survival patterns are the underlying reasons behind it.
Yeah.
And so, once again, that goes back to what we were talking about. What are the wounds? What's the past? What's the history? And have you really taken time to heal it?
Yeah.
Because if you have a fear of being wrong, why do you have that fear? Why is it so terrible if you're wrong about something, or you fail, or you make a mistake, or you don't know?
Yeah. Great questions. So maybe you're listening to this and you came into this episode thinking, I'm totally self-aware. It's my spouse who has a problem. But then you look at those 3 signs that we just shared with you and you're like, oh, check, check, check. Then this is an issue for you. And we want to shift gears a little bit here in this part of the episode. We've got to kind of get towards wrapping up, but we want to leave you with some practical ways to help each other grow in self-awareness.
And how she said that is important. You're going to help each other grow. You're not responsible for their growth. As we already talked about and emphasized, you're responsible for your own growth. But we can help each other. And we should help each other.
We want to. And like we have, Thomas and myself, we have given each other permission to speak into one another's life.
Well, and the way that I kind of think about it is like you're helping each other see things that you don't see. Few years ago, we were out on family vacation. We were doing some hiking at Glacier National Park, and family vacation. And all of a sudden, we walk down the trail, and there is a guy who has his back to us, and he's off the trail. and his wife also has her back to us, and she's looking down the trail, and her husband is pooping.
Yeah. And here we are with all these little girls coming down the trail to a man pooping right off the side of
And
the trail.
they're both looking the same way, and I'm just like, why is she watching out in front of him? He can see in front of him. Why is she not like watching his back,
Yeah.
being like, hey, somebody's coming?
Because it's clear he's been like, I have to poop right now. I need a lookout.
Yeah.
And so she's like, I'll be the lookout. And she looks the same direction he's looking.
Yeah, like that doesn't help anything.
No.
It's like Lysandra and I do a lot of hiking together, and she will do everything possible not to use the restroom
Outside.
on the trail.
No, I do not want to.
But
Well,
they're-
never on the trail.
Yeah, but I'm saying like while we're out and about.
I try not to go to the bathroom in nature.
And
That's the
every
goal.
once in a while, it happens. It
Yeah.
happened on our 10-mile hike recently, and
Yes.
it's like, okay, I'm gonna
I had to
watch
go
out
potty.
for you, but I'm gonna watch the areas you can't see
Yes.
because that's the whole point.
Right.
And the same is true with this. It's like, I'm gonna help you. You're gonna help me see the things I don't necessarily see. So
Yeah. It's so that you
you don't
end
get
up.
caught with your pants down, literally or figuratively.
Yes. Oh my goodness, that sure did.
The number of times I think about that,
I
like,
know.
what in the world?
Well, every time we hike, I think about it. And then especially if I have to go to the bathroom on a hike, I'm like, I'm always looking for like where there's bushes on three sides of me and one entrance and Thomas stands at the entrance. Like,
Yeah.
but if you're not self-aware, you don't think that, oh, I just scratched my sunburn. Oh, I forgot about it. Ouch. Oh, darn.
See, you lack self-awareness about the state of your skin.
Oh, man. Okay. So, practical ways to help each other grow. And remember, this is not about being critical. You're not trying to be critical here,
Yeah.
okay? And this is the first one. Ask permission before giving feedback. All right. This is so important because uninvited correction often feels like an attack.
Yeah.
Now, Thomas and me, we have literally told each other, like, you have permission to speak into my life. Tell me when you see something off. I want to hear. So because we have that permission, we don't necessarily have to ask permission before saying it. We're always really careful with how we say it.
Yeah.
But that's something that we've already done. So hopefully you have that. If not, let's do that. Ask the question, can I have permission to speak into your life or to give you feedback? So here's some things that you can say to start the conversation if you're maybe trying to help your spouse see a blind spot. Can I share something with you that I've noticed? Maybe this. Is this a good time for something a little vulnerable? And what you're doing here is you are trying to communicate partnership and teamwork, not superiority. You're not trying to say like, I have everything in order in my life, so let me help you get your life in order.
Yeah.
But you're saying like, I've noticed something about you that I want to share with you if you would like to hear it. And if they say no, leave them alone.
Yeah.
Now, if it's something where it's like they're hurting your children by things they're saying, you need to bring that up one way or the other.
Yeah. Yeah.
But sometimes it's just little things that are a little more insignificant, like like you say the word like a lot, or you say literally too much.
Yeah.
Those are things that it's like, okay, if you don't want to hear it, I'm going to let you be. But if it's really hurting you or hurting your children or whatever, then you've got to share that with them.
So another way you can do is to speak from experience, not accusation. So instead of saying, you're so defensive, you never listen, twist that around and focus in on yourself. Like, I feel shut out when the conversation ends quickly. I feel small when my concerns get brushed aside. So once again, you're not trying to assassinate their character.
Right.
Right? You're keeping the focus on the impact that things are having on you. Like, this is my perspective. This is my point of view. This is my experience. And it's a lot less threatening that way.
Absolutely. And it keeps the focus on the impact
Yeah.
rather than what they're actually doing. Highlight growth as much as weakness. So even us, when we have to talk to each other about something that we've maybe been unaware, like when Thomas was interrupting our friend Brett, trying to say positive things as well. Like, you're such a good friend, and you are so much fun to be around. And I can see that like our friend couple has such a good time when you're around. But I did notice that you've been interrupting him or whatever. So it could be something like that. But you got to realize, like, if feedback only comes when something is wrong, that's creating anxiety and like this really negative pattern.
Yeah.
So rather, what you want to do is make it a habit to say things like, I noticed how patient you were today, or I saw how you handled it when your car was blocked in today and it was awesome. I'm really proud of you. It meant a lot to me that you didn't freak out on our daughter when she did blah, blah, blah. So positive things, right? On a regular basis. That way it's not like every time you are talking to them, it's always negative. Because this is one thing that I think we've missed in our society, and that is that encouragement fuels change far more than criticism.
Yeah.
It makes a huge difference.
Most definitely. Another thing that you can and should be doing is share how you're growing, how you're learning, how you're becoming more self-aware, what you're actually working on.
Yes.
We are so often so quick to expose the work that our spouse needs to do on themselves. And we don't necessarily open ourselves up to like, this is what I'm struggling with. This is what I'm trying to work on right now. And I think we need to be better at that. The more that we share how we're learning and growing, the more that encourages them to think about what do they need to work on. Mm-hmm. I've realized I withdraw when I feel criticized. So I'm working on staying engaged. And
That's
you
good.
see how that focuses in on, I recognize I have failures, I have shortcomings, and this is what I'm trying to do to work on it. Because humility disarms defensiveness. Mm-hmm. It's like, there's nothing to be defensive about if I'm sharing with you the struggle, my shortcoming, and how I'm trying to work on it.
Right, because then it becomes more of a me too situation. Like, I know, me too. I need to work on that too. Or I get it because I'm working on this over here. There's no more defensiveness. And I love this to create a growth culture in your marriage. All right. This is not a performance culture. We're not trying to put on an act between each other.
Yep.
We are growing together as a team. We are working at it together. And growth culture says we're both unfinished, but we're both on the same team. Mm-hmm. And feedback is for building, not winning. It's not about me winning against you or whatever, because we're on the same team. So rather than saying who's right, because every argument you want, like, there's just this thing inside of you that wants to know who won the argument, who is the right one, who is wrong. Even people like me, who I didn't grow up in like a win at all costs kind of family, but there's still a part of me that like wants to know who's right and wrong in a situation.
Well, spoiler, I'm right, you're wrong.
You have some work to do. We need to have a talk. Also, I think that also, like, we want to know who's the problem. Like, who's really the problem is in this marriage? Spoiler, it's you.
Both of us.
It's both of us. And that's really the answer. Because a Christian marriage reflects grace and growth. It's the culture of growth. It's not the culture of performance.
It's just I'm 1% of the problem. You're 99%.
Oh, is that true?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm ready for you to work on 100% of your 1%.
I am.
Okay, good. I can't wait to see what that's like.
You're going to love it.
I hope people understand we're joking with each other, because otherwise it sounds like we really need some help.
We do need some help. But here's the thing. If you want a stronger, healthier, more connected marriage, it starts with looking inward first.
Yeah.
We often just want to look at the other person and think, well, if they would just work on their 1%, then we'd be better.
Then we could just leave the 99% that I'm the problem and just leave it alone, and everything will be great.
Yeah. But stop looking at the other person and look inside of you. Become more self-aware, and that can transform your relationship from reactive to intentional.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Maybe you want a little more on this topic. We have a bonus resource for you. We'd love to email it to you. Marriage self-awareness reflection questions. So some of the questions that we talked about at the beginning of this episode and stuff, it's like, okay, I got to go back and write all that down or whatever, or get the transcript. You can just email us, info@familymeeting.org, and we will send you a questionnaire. And it's going to help you get this conversation started with your spouse, or maybe they're not interested in it. That's okay. You can do this on your own, and it will make your marriage better, even if it's just you working on this. We both need to be self-aware. We need to be self-aware as individuals and as a couple. But maybe your spouse isn't ready yet. They're not there yet. That's okay. You work on it yourself. And just email us for that bonus resource, and we'll send that off to you.
So family meeting tonight, you're going to sit down with your spouse and you're going to have a conversation about your blind spots. And you're going to begin by just opening yourself up for examination. Like, hey, I was listening to this podcast, and one of the things they talked about was people who just can't see the obvious problems and issues that they have personally. And I'm just curious, like, are there things that I'm not seeing about myself, about how I act around people, about what I say, my words, my actions, how they impact people? Is there anything that I'm just not seeing clearly? And you've got to be prepared for the answer. Don't be defensive. Come with a heart of humility, wanting to learn, wanting to grow. And typically the way that conversations go, once you've opened yourself up, then that is an opportunity for them to open themselves up, and make sure you're kind, gentle, and compassionate as you answer that question for them. So that is family meeting for tonight.
Thanks so much for joining us today for this family meeting. Please help me with what this line is.
Yeah, reading is tough.
Sorry, I'm distracted. Please go and subscribe to the Family Meeting Podcast. That would be great. From your favorite podcast provider. And if you found this information helpful, please share this episode on social media and invite your friends and family to listen in with you.
To find more content and information Lysandra and I provide, you can go to our website, familymeeting.org, or email us at info@familymeeting.org. If you'd like to shoot us a text or call us, you can send a voice message at 904-257-3062.
And we want to invite you to join us for our next family meeting as we talk about having a Sabbath day. We're going to talk about having a family day and a Sabbath day, and what does that actually mean? A Sabbath was something that God originated. He ordained it. What does it mean? What does it mean for us now? We live real busy lives. We live in reality. How can you live in reality and also bring in a Sabbath to your family? We're going to talk about that next week.
Thanks for joining us today for this family meeting. Have a great week, everybody. This meeting is adjourned. All right. Are you self-aware? Do you know your blind spots? And if not, it's time to have that conversation. Invite somebody into your life. I was talking with the men in our leadership group on Monday, and just talking about being teachable and all that. And so one of the questions that we were talking about is like, who in your life has permission to speak into your life, whether it's spiritually or relationally, that they can talk to you and say, hey, you've got an issue here. I see a problem, or this could be a dangerous direction for you to go. Like, who have you given permission to do that? And you should give your spouse and have your spouse have that permission. But I think it's good to have people in your life. Like, if you're a woman, have a woman in your life who you say, you know what, I'm giving you permission to speak into my life.
Yeah.
I want to learn. I want to grow. I want to see what I don't see. If you're a man, having another man in your life, and it was interesting to hear from the guys to kind of say the names of the people who they've given permission. And so make sure you have those people in your life that'll speak to you. Your spouse, you should already have permission from them and give them permission. But it's good to have other people around you as well who are kind of a little bit on the outside, but close enough that they can see what's going on.
Just in case you're a self-unaware couple.
Yeah, that happens too. Yeah, that does happen too. So, but great conversation today. We're looking forward to seeing many of you in Gulfport, Mississippi in a couple of days. For the rest of you, we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.